council meeting of May the 27th to order. I'd like to welcome each and every one here this evening, especially the councilors. I apologize for such a nice evening, having you sat here and go through this nice weather when we only have short days a week or month. But anyway, thanks for being here. Invitation of councilors in attendance?
Yes.
Thank you. Could I have a motion to approve the agenda, please?
I'll move.
Moved by Deputy Mayor Brownlow. I have a seconder. Seconded by Councilor Annis. Any questions on the agenda? All those in favor? Contrary-minded, if any? Motion carried. With the agenda this evening, do we have any declaration of conflicts of interest to declare? None, we're good there. We have no delegates this evening. Could I have a motion to approve the previous meeting minutes of May the 13th of the regular council?
I so move.
Moved by Councilor Forbes, for the seconder. Seconded by Councilor Brewer. Are there any errors, omissions, or questions on the minutes from May the 13th? Hearing none, could I have a motion for, take a motion. All those in favor?
Aye.
Contrary-minded, if any? Motion carried. Any business arising from the previous meeting minutes? Hearing none, we're good. We have two correspondents this evening, and they're both moved to new business. We have committee reports. The committee of the whole meeting minutes are in your package. Could I have a motion to approve those committee of the whole meeting minutes, please?
I'll move.
Moved by Deputy Mayor Brownlow. Do I have a seconder? Second by Councilor Edwards. Any errors, omissions, or questions on the committee of the whole minutes? None? Good. All those in favor?
Aye.
Contrary, if any? Motion carried. So we'll now go into our treasurer report. We'll ask our treasurer, Katrina Lending, if she would bring the unaudited financial statements up to date for March and April this year.
So this set of unaudited financial statement includes March and April 2025. First page is revenue. You'll find the total on the right-hand side. And then once we progress into the expense section, you'll also see a percentage of the budget. Under revenue, we have under 4 and 5 our monthly unconditional grants and warrants that we received for March and April. Number 9 is other government revenue. There's nothing in those accounts this month. I will note that for the year-to-date total, the negative, that balances itself out the next month in May. It's relation to the CCBF account. Under number 12, building permit, that is the building permit revenue that we received for the first quarter, so January to March. Under number 14, other miscellaneous income, there's nothing new there. It's our monthly rent income from Unit 2, Unit 3 of the building. Same with number 15, interest income. That's on our capital reserve operating accounts and the CCBF account. And then we have a total from revenue at the bottom of this page. And now on to expenses. The first section, wages is from 3 to 11, and it also includes number 15, human resources personnel. The EICPP 18, which is other administrative services. If you look at number 18, it is lower over March and April as opposed to previous months. If you can remember, the previous statement is just due to no big expenditures in those 2 months, for example, consulting fees. We'll move to the next page. Under protective services, number 9 to 14 are the different expense accounts for the 2 fire stations, which are allocated the percentages you can see above and under line 3 and 4. At the end of April, we are roughly 33% through the year, so both the stations are kind of hovering around that mark. There was increased spending in April compared to March, but that's primarily under number 11, equipment, 13, training, and 14, other. And the other mostly is consisting of the City of Fredericton dispatch service. I'll note too that for April, the Capital Region Service Commission quarterly bill came out, which was a big expense that month. And going up to the last page. Number 21, culture, administration, other. From March is included our grant that we paid to Burt's Corner Lions Club, also 2 smaller amounts, one for Keswick School and Canadian Lumberjack Championship. And for April, that amount is mostly the Keswick Community Events Committee. And then the total expenses and the net income are on the bottom. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Karina. So could I have a motion to accept the unaudited financial statements for March and April 2025? Moved by Councillor Downey, do I have a seconder? Seconded by Councillor Brewer. Do we have any questions on the financial report for?
Yes, number 29 and 30, what does it mean by contractor 1 and contractor 2?
The 2 different garbage collectors.
That, oh, you're referring to the garbage collector?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, thank you.
Any other questions on the treasury report? Hearing none, all those in favor? Contrary minded, again, motion carried. So move on to our Chief Administrator Officer's report, please.
Thank you. The first line item, you might seem familiar to you from the last meeting. The meeting that I was supposed to have with Fredericton last Friday was canceled due to the weather, and we're supposed to go again this Friday, same time. And I'm already aware that it might be raining then again as well, so I'm crossing my fingers. The next 2 items are just some backup information for 2 of the motions in your package. The donation request from Cooper Hill. Cooper has been selected for the softball team representing New Brunswick at the 2025 Summer Games in Newfoundland. I've reached out to Team NB to get some more information, and the reply included this statement. The costs associated with preparing for the games, such as weekend training camps and interprovincial competitions, are not included, and they were referring to they are not reimbursed for any of those expenses. These preparatory activities can be significant financial commitments for families. And the second, backup information for the New Brunswick Medical Education Foundation scholarship. So basically, under New Business 13D, there is a proposed motion to enroll with the NBNEF and fund the medical scholarship. If the motion is approved, the MB-MEF will select the student. They first look at applicants from the community. If council signs up for 2 years, then there will be a 2-year legally binding contract with a medical practitioner to work in Central York. If you sign up for 4 years, the contract will be for 4 years. You are permitted to enter into a separate contract outside of the MB-MEF. Thank you.
Can I have a motion to accept the CAO report?
I so move.
Moved by Councilor Ford, do I have a second? Second by Councilor Ennis. Any questions concerning the CAO report? Okay, all those in favor? Contrary minded, if any? Motion carried. Move on to my mayor report for May 27th. On May the 8th, I attended the Capital Region Tourism presentation at the Delta. This function was completely filled up with most of tourism staff present. A very informative day, and much said about Matlaquack Park, Lakeway houseboats, Magenta, Crab Mountain, small craft boat launches, and on and on. As 6 of our councillors toured the Myra Rock Quarry in full operation on May the 7th, I think I can speak for all of us that we all learned a great deal about this operation. May the 6th saw the monthly Capital Region Service Commission meeting with regular business and the 2030 vision from Ignite, which is online. It was also announced that Don Fitzgerald, CLO, would be retiring May 30th, 2025. His replacement has not been announced as of yet, but I expect it will be announced on June the 3rd. For the councillors not on the Rural Planning Committee, we had our 4th meeting on May the 15th with Capital Region Service Commission planners. The plan is progressing nicely. I attended an Economic Expansion Committee from Capital Region Service Commission on May the 20th with most of the talk on tariffs, which is very unclear as of yet and changes almost daily. It is almost certain that the lumber industry will have the tariff increase from 17% to 34% short. Very unfortunate for our region. May the 26th, the Finance Committee virtual meeting for the Capital Region Service Commission. The office is still not open to the public on Regent Street as of yet. Most of the discussion is centered around reserve funds. The CFO is suggesting that they all need increased over the next 5 years. Some of the new mandatory line items don't even have any reserves yet. Today I attended and chaired the Infrastructure Committee for the Capital Service Region Committee. Much of the discussion was around trail connectivity rather than trails in the individual municipality. GEMTech and the Capital Region Service Commission are going to identify points that may be connected. And do all municipalities want connected was one of the questions. Fredericton doesn't allow motorized units on their trails, which may retard this connectivity aspect for most other municipalities. And in saying that last little bit, I would ask all councillors if they would just keep in mind about this trail connectivity and go through our region and see where we might connect with municipalities around us. Nackawik, Nashwauk, how we cross the river to connect with some of the others on the south side of the river. So just ask me to do that in the next while. So that's my report. Do I have a motion to accept my report?
I'll move.
Moved by Deputy Mayor Brownlow. Do I have a seconder? Seconded by Councilor Brewer. Any questions on my report? All those in favor? Contrary minded, if any? Motion carried. So we'll move on to new business. And the first item on new business is the 3rd reading by title of bylaw number A-12, a bylaw to amend the Douglas Planning Area Rural Plan Regulation 03-DOU 024-00. And I'd ask the councillor to put this in a motion and read the title of this amendment in the motion.
I will so move.
Okay, thank you.
I move that for the 3rd reading of title of bylaw number A-12, a bylaw to amend the Douglas Planning Area Rural Planning Regulation 03-DOU-024-00.
Have a seconder? Second by Councillor Downing. Any question on this motion? Yes, Councilor Winters.
By voting on this, what does it mean?
What does it mean?
Yes.
It means the two PID numbers.
Pardon me?
It means the two PID numbers that are put forth are amended.
Right,
Uh,
and are either passed or not passed, right?
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay. Any other questions? Hearing none, we'll ask our secretary to call a vote on each council member.
Deputy Mayor Dustin Brownwell,
Yes.
Councillor Ken Drake,
Yes.
Councillor Jarrett Forbes,
Yes.
Councillor Wayne Ennis,
Yes.
Councillor Cheryl Brewer,
Yes.
Councillor Joan Edwards.
Not yet, no,
Will you have to,
no,
you're
She's
voting
a
no?
no.
she's saying no, with not yet.
Mayor David DePussy.
Yes. Did you miss Councilor Downey?
Yes. Councillor Rachel Manning.
Yes.
Thank you.
Joan threw me off course.
Pardon me? Oh, you're not talking to
So
me.
I wasn't quite sure.
Motion carried on the third reading of the bylaw to have it in. Thank you. Donation request from Nacoit Area Wellness to support their Wheels and Wellness program. Do you want to go through that? Or-
Doesn't matter.
Well, I just, basically, for me, for the community, we are supposed to be improving our regional transportation. There is another entity that offers the same type of a service, but this one's coming from Nacogdoches. I support it, but obviously I don't make a vote, so.
Was the dollar value in the package?
Yeah.
Okay.
So just my input on it, their ask would support 16 and a half rides. And so far this year, Central York residents, although it's a small amount of number that's using it, they've already had 9 rides. Last year total, they had 19 from Central York. So we're at 9 with a total of 19 last year, and this will fund 16,
But they're open to all of Central York?
all of Central York.
Okay,
Anyone that calls, any senior citizen that calls.
okay. All right, would you prefer to put that in the motion at that value?
Sure. So I would put in a motion that we accept the donation request of $1,000 to the Nacogdoches Area and Wellness to support their Wheels to Wellness program for Central York.
Okay, you've heard the motion, do we have a seconder?
I'll second it.
Seconded by Councilor Ennis. Any further question on the motion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Yes.
Contrary minded, if any, motion carried. The next item on our new business is a donation request from Cooper Hill to support their or his participation in the upcoming 2025 Summer Games in St. John's, Newfoundland. Cooper is how old?
16.
16, so his whole, much of his immediate family needs to be there with him, whatnot, so. I've heard a lot of good things about Cooper, about his ability and whatnot. We don't have a value on that, right?
I have a suggestion.
Okay,
So, I know that I think on the application they put $5,000. A lot of that is because of, they're hoping like some of the family can go, but the way that your donation budget works is really it's for the individuals. And I would suggest, as you heard from my report, all of their expenses aren't covered by the province, so I would say anywhere up to $500 would be my suggestion. I'll just leave it at that.
okay, what's our budget?
Our total budget's $5,000,
And if we,
and you just spent $1,000 for Wheels to Wellness.
okay, and that's all we've spent so far this year?
Yes.
Okay. Would someone like to change value or go with that value or put that value in a motion?
I'm comfortable moving, we donate $500 to assist Cooper with attending the summer Canada Games in Newfoundland.
Okay, we have a seconder? Councilor Edwards? Any questions on this motion?
Oh,
Yes.
not a question, just a comment. It would be nice to have him come to council meetings sometime so we can meet him.
Possibility. All those in favor of this motion? Contrary minded, if any? Motion carried. Next item on the agenda is a motion to enroll with the New Brunswick Medical Education Foundation Incorporated and fund a medical student for $10,000 per year for up to 4 years. Is there anything you would like to add to that? No, straightforward, okay. Would a councilor like to put that in the motion?
I'll put it in the motion.
Moved by Deputy Mayor Brownlow, seconder. Second by Councilor Bailey. Questions on this motion?
So just to make sure I understand, and everyone's clear. So we're gonna fund $10,000 up to 4 years, for a student, and in return, they're going to come and work and practice in Central York for 4 years.
If that's what you choose, 4 years, and you can choose 2. The NEF already has a pool of students, and they'll help you select, well, they select 40, but they do try to find somebody if there's a student from Central York.
So this is $10,000 a year?
Yes. It could be 3 years, just depending on what council decides.
But the motion is 4 at this point in time.
Or, well, up to 4 years, so you can change, you can have 2 years, you could have 3, it's for up to 4 years, not
Okay.
4 years specific.
I just have one comment on this. We certainly need a medical doctor in Central York. There's no doubt about that. I like the $10,000 per year. I would hope in some way, shape, or form, we might even pay $5,000 for nurse practitioners after we see if we can land a doctor in Central York. It takes a lot less money to be a nurse practitioner than it does a doctor, but I do believe a doctor is our priority at this point in time. So it's nothing that changes the motion. I just wanted to add that. Councilor Edwards?
Who would this person work with?
The New Brunswick Medical Education Foundation Incorporated.
Oh, because when it said, somewhere, I was just,
They work with Verizon.
yeah, so they don't have to work in Central York. That's just something that I misread.
They will work in Central York for up to 4 years if that's what we agree
If we
to.
fund it, they will work in Central
Yeah,
York.
but who would they work with
They work with Verizon
Verizon.
in Central York?
in Central York.
Yes,
With a doctor?
They would be the
they would
doctor.
be a doctor.
Yeah. But this is a student, right?
They are a student before
Yeah.
they're a doctor.
Yeah. But still, I just keep wondering, who they're gonna work with in Central York.
The nurse practitioners in the clinic.
Okay, so they do have someone to work with. Okay.
Yes.
Any further? Yes, Councilor Evans.
More of a question, I guess, than a comment. In your report, Duncan, you mentioned about your commitment to enter into a separate contract outside of the NEF. Are there advantages, disadvantages to looking at a contract outside of the NEF? Like, to me, I would think if we were inside of that, there would be some, maybe a protection.
You're limited with the NEF. The outside contract would be if you wanted to extend your service.
Okay,
Sign them up for another
Okay.
4 years.
Yep.
or-
okay, I understand now.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yes, Councilor Forbes.
If we chose to go with 4 years, would we, if the individual broke that contract, we're not on the hook to the NEF for 2 more years, even if they weren't able to replace us with somebody, that contract would be broken, right?
Yes, and then they would owe you what you paid out.
That,
Yes.
Okay.
Not the NEF, but that student.
sure.
So it's either the service or they have to pay us back.
Yes.
What part of the budget does this come out of?
Well, the part that's gonna come out of is that we've received more of an HST rebate than anticipated. It wasn't budgeted for in the fall, but we have the funding for it. It actually might not even start at this point in the year. I'm not sure if it starts this fall or if it starts in 2026, so.
Does it have to be approved by then? Does it have to be approved
By,
in the,
yes, they facilitate it,
yeah,
and they
okay.
do they find the student for
Or
it.
pick the candidate, right? Yes,
At any point, will we have any say who the candidate is, or we'll just be presented with?
It's facilitated by that.
but they will look at Central York.
That's their first mandate.
Yes.
Prior to the testing.
So we good on questions? All those in favor of the motion? Contrary minded, if any? Motion carried. Could I have a motion to move into closed session? Moved by Councilor Forbes, will I have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Deputy Mayor Brownlow. All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried.